what's going on? So I got boxes, and boxes mean I got new parts. Picked up some O2 sensor plugs to go into my X-Pipe because I have, I think, 4 ports on the X-Pipe I need to plug, and I also need to cap off what I think is a tube for an EGR. I'm not exactly sure what this tube went to, but all I know there's a hole in the exhaust. I need to plug it up. So, semi-racing friction lock fasteners. Don't know if they're any good. I'm going to be trying them for the first time here. I've done other ones with the Stage 8 locking fasteners for headers on my brother's Fox Body Mustang. And we literally, even with these locking spacers and special shims, all craziness, still had stuff back out and bolts completely disappear on his headers. But it is a Turbo Fox, so maybe it was our fault we didn't put them tight enough. Maybe they walked out. No idea. Don't care. All I know is I got these and we're going to try them out. Now, for the... I didn't really need to get this, but these are intermediate tubes and clamps. I decided to go with stainless instead of just steel because I want to treat a little more rust prevention. But these are going to allow me, with the flared ends, to plug up to my X-Pipe. Now these are actually for a Mustang, so they're oddly shaped. I could have just got straight ones, but these are the best price, and maybe it'll give me a little more flexibility with what I'm doing. I don't know. We're going to find that together. Flowmaster FX. I guess these are a newer muffler for Flowmaster that I've been kind of seeing around. Kind of a straight through design. Biggest thing is I didn't want a ridiculous drone because I plan on driving this truck a lot on the street. So I didn't want something that was going to be straight through and just give me that mind-numbing drone for something I'm going to drive more regularly, almost as a daily driver. So I went with this guy, and to be honest, for $48 for a full stainless steel muffler, yeah, I'll take it. Can't quite see through it, but it does come at an angle straight through-ish. Hopefully keeps the drone down. Might be a little quieter than I really want, but you know what? 48 bucks. I'm not planning to change it later if I want to for that. And I went with a 2.5-inch pipe because I don't need 3-inch for this particular build. I'm not going to be creating that much power. It's true dual exhaust. So for everybody out there in the comments down below, like, oh, you should have gone 3-inch. Yeah, I don't care. This is going to do exactly what I wanted. And yes, I know bigger exhaust means more airflow, means more horsepower. 2.5-inch and going up to a 3-inch in the afterwards, not enough of a difference for me to care. That little bit of difference is such a minor thing that I'm looking more for consistency, quiet, and longevity, not max horsepower. This is more of a street truck, not a race truck. Let's lay this bad boy out and see what this is gonna look like. Picture it with me. Let me draw the picture for you. So, header, attaches the motor. X-Pipe, it's got a mount here, which should correspondingly mount up. I have to make some sort of bracket to go on the cross member over here. Bring me to the X-Pipe, which should be about there on the car. I'm probably gonna have to trim up these pipes about 2-3 inches shorter to bring the muffler, because right now as it stands, out of my muffler, it could be about here. I got it all mocked up and I learned a few things along the way. So, mufflers, nice and far back on the chassis. Though I'm probably going to have to cut this tube here a little bit shorter because in comparison to the wheel here, you see I want to dump it out in front of the tire for now, and it's going to be a little too close. So I'm going to have to shorten this up maybe 3 inches or so I can get a nice bend right out here. And that one, probably shorten that maybe only like 1 inch. So I can get a nice out in front of the tire and be a nice easy dump. Overall, I got my plugs, plugging up the holes. This is kind of in there by hand right now, so nothing crazy. Left that one open for the O2 sensor I'm going to need for my system. But I learned I made a mistake, as usual, because that's what we do when we build cars, make a lot of mistakes. So I got the one header on this side. It has 2 bolts right now, holding it in, nothing crazy. but gaining access to the bolts is going to be a change, so I can pull the starter off and makes it a lot easier. On this side, though, you see, there's a problem. It's only 2 tubes. Here are the other 2 tubes. I can't fit this in that gap. Not even close. I've tried upside down, backwards, from underneath, up top, from the side, any which way I can to get that sucker in there. Nope. So, that means this engine has to come back up, out, again for the 1000th time. And I'm probably going to have to actually take off the motor mount as well to get access to these. Because I didn't realize, I'm used to old school cars where they have a bolt here and a bolt here. These have a bolt on top and a bolt on bottom. I'm an idiot. Even with no body on this at all this room to work, and I still can't get the freaking header on. Either way, growing pains is what it is. Now I need to go ahead and start fabricating, cutting this exhaust up so I can get that on and get the headers all the way on, because I don't want to do this again. And I'm saying this will be the last time I'm going to pull the motor out. I bet I'm wrong. Engine's up. Got the hoist. Had to get a little sketchy here. Sitting on a block of wood. Right there. So it's level. And to make this happen, had to take out the motor mount, which I'm not gonna lie, I really feel like I should get new motor mounts while it's up one more time, because with this header in place, oh my god, it was still a big challenge to get the motor mount off with this header in place. And that didn't include the other 2 pipes that I need to put in now. And I'm still gonna have fun getting access to the bolt that's down here. And one other thing that I've been trying to figure out for a little while now, because you remember the plugs I put in the exhaust earlier? I had a few extra because I saw this. I'm like, okay, but when you look down at it, there's nothing. It doesn't go anywhere. Focus. That hole has nothing in it. So I don't know why there's threads on it. There's one on both sides. No clue what they're for. I don't know if somebody was going to install some sort of temperature probe or something there. I have no idea, because it's a humongous opening. If you know, put in the comments below, because I have one on both sides. They go to nowhere. And then I also got this tube and this tube. I'm pretty sure this one's my EGR. No clue what this guy's for. That thing, hooker headers, come on, let me know. Because this guy, no idea. Okay, now the fun, because I realized I don't have a 12-point ratcheting wrench, which I'm gonna need to install these screws. So that means I'm using just a regular wrench to put them in, you know, quarter turn at a time. It's gonna take a while. It's a new day in the garage, and now, you remember like 4 minutes ago in the video where I had the exhaust all nice and mocked up in there? Well, yeah. I mocked everything up except with the exception of the one part. And that's gonna be these 2 tubes right here. They didn't fit without lifting the motor when I was mocking everything up, so I just left them off. No big deal. Except these 2 tubes, which do slide out from here, into separation here, are the biggest problem. Now it looks like this is all installed, except for the fact that it is not. The motor is just floating there. This whole thing is resting on this tube right here. Now I have a couple different options I could do to fix this. So I mean, I can, cut the tubes. I got a nice length here, cut section out, move it out. But then I run the problem of I don't have a place to put my steering shaft no more so I'm gonna have future problems there. This brake line's no big deal. I'll just bend that out of the way. I don't care about that. Other options, different headers. Which I'm like, sure, no problem. They can't be that expensive. I was wrong. Not even close. So I put a couple things out on my Facebook, check what other people who have done this build before might have had this experience with. Headers for this, that for sure work. The Cook headers are $1,600. No, no, not spending that. That's eating way into my budget. But everybody says they work, they clear, steering shaft, no problem. Kind of tempting. Had somebody else recommend some BBK headers, and he had done the same exact thing with this 4-valve swap. And a slightly older F100, so I feel like it should work. But, I'm like, okay, BBKs, $700. And then I gotta get the adapters to make them adapt to my X pipe over there, because it won't be here. I'll have to get some, they were kind of a mid-length. So that's another, I don't know, $850. No, not an option. So, last option. Time to start getting a custom frame. We're gonna notch this bad boy out. And that means I need to go from garage mic to fabrication mic. Had to swap back to mechanic mode. I goofed, big time. And it was a nightmare to fix this problem. So the two tubes are now off. But in the process of removing the two tubes, I dropped my custom made Allen wrench. Where did I put you? Here. This guy, right here. Had to cut the end off, and it managed to find its way right down into this, right where this thing is right here. That is the hole for the dipstick. Out of all the places for this thing to fall, it fell right into the oil pan. So I had to lift the engine up, which I already had, luckily, but I had to drop the pan, fish around in there for it, find it, pull all the old RTV off, put the new RTV on, and shove it back in there, just so I can get back to where we were. So now I continue on. I'm at the point where I have bent this brake line out of the way. So instead of being right over here, it is now pushed that way. And you can see my line here where I marked around the header. I'm actually probably going to cut a little further out, just around the edge of this bolt here, and around, and come down to the side here. And by doing that, hopefully, if I cut out enough in one shot, I'm going to take that piece, flip it over, and weld it back in place, and then add a little gussets there to fill in the whole extra holes. See how good I am. the work is done, and now the final result is it is in. Let's put some light on it for you. Look at that. Ooh. It's still a little snug, but hey, it's as good as it's gonna get. It's all closed in. So you even have access to a bolt for mounting something. What? I had no idea, but I got a bolt. So that's all good to go. The whole motor and everything's now officially sitting in the chassis. It's all good. Kind of had all this mocked up, but I've got the mufflers on the floor. I already cut that tube to where it needs to be. It's all looking good. Let's put it this way, my welding skills need a little bit of work. My grinding skills are phenomenal. A little coat of paint and it was all good to go. Now, I just need to finish up mocking up the rest of the exhaust a little bit with a couple of clamps. Then we are on to the gas tank. But that'll be it for today. Till next time, go work on your own cars. Peace.